is the NFL's worst fear about the Minnesota Vikings coming true? I'll explain my thoughts on that here in a second. But welcome in the Vikings now. My name is Patrick Seatman, and we appreciate all of you guys for taking time out of your day to enjoy this edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports. But what is the fear for NFL teams when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings? Well, I think the Vikings are replicating the same exact plan that the 49ers used to make multiple Super Bowls, one with Jimmy Garoppolo, one with Brock Purdy, where you have a quarterback on a cheap deal, and then you build a loaded team around them. And I think that's what the Vikings have done throughout this free agency period. So I'll explain my thoughts here in full. But before we do so, our Packers Report channel, new channel here at Chat Sports, actually challenged us here at Vikings Now to a race to 100 subscribers. So I told them you're probably going to lose this battle, but they wanted to challenge us. So if you guys want to help me out and make me look good for my bosses, go down there, hit that subscribe button. Maybe we can pick up 100 subs just off today's show. So hit that subscribe button today. Don't miss a thing around your Minnesota Vikings. All right, so I want to frame the show around a little Super Bowl checklist because I think you need to have 5 things to ensure yourself to at least just be a Super Bowl contender, and then you'll just kind of have to wait and see how it plays out. But number one, I think this is by far, you got to have a stacked roster. I think the Philadelphia Eagles made that, crystal clear this past season. Is they had one of the most stacked rosters in the National Football League. But I want to start off here not talking about some free agency additions that the Vikings made. I want to talk about an addition that not a lot of people are talking about. It's this guy coming back. It's the best left tackle in the National Football League returning to the lineup, hopefully for week 1 of next season, and that being Christian Darrisaw. Now, I thought it was super impressive what the Vikings did, winning, I think it was 9 games in a row without Darrisaw in the lineup. But having him back, it changes everything for this ball club because he is truly turning out to be, if not a top 5, top 3, could be the best left tackle in the league. And, he's always graded out very, very well according to PFF. I mean, even his rookie year, him stepping into the lineup, still was able to post a 71.9 PFF grade. 2022, he was fantastic in his sophomore campaign. 90.3 overall grade, 90.2 in the run block. 2023, great again. And 2024, great again. Honestly, I thought PFF kind of screwed him out a little bit. I thought 2024 was his best season by far. But, point being here, getting Christian Darrisaw back is kind of like the one addition I feel like not enough people are talking about. And, obviously every other Vikings YouTuber, every other Vikings fans know how special Christian Darrisaw is. But when you turn on these Colin Cowherds, these Nick Wrights, and they talk about where are teams getting better this offseason? I think the Vikings, the biggest way they are getting better is getting Christian Darrisaw back and also retaining Brian Flores. People aren't talking about that enough. And speaking about Brian Flores and this defense, I mean, you got 10 guys, and I'm not going to call them all 10 blue chippers here, but you got an elite defense, man. I mean, especially up front. You got Grenard. You got Van Ginkel, 2 elite edge rushers. Then you got the young gun, Dallas Turner, also coming off the edge. Hargrave, Allen, Harrison Phillips, who isn't even listed on this list in the defensive tackle spot. Then you got 2 good linebackers in Pace and Cashman. Got a solid secondary with Murphy, Metellus, and Harrison Smith. And that's why I don't even think this is a hot take here. The Vikings were top 5 last season. I think they're going to be top 3 this year in the NFL in terms of scoring defense. And I honestly think, they gave up a lot of yards last season. I think that's going to change. I think when you look at all the statistical categories, the Vikings will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in all of them. So I think it'll be undisputed. The Vikings will have a top 5 defense next season. That's going to, honestly, I think the backbone of why this Vikings team will be a Super Bowl contender. It won't be because of what Kevin O'Connell and J.J. McCarthy are going to do. It's going to be because of what Brian Flores and the new age purple people eaters are going to do on that side of the football. But, speaking about Flores, if you want to be a Super Bowl contender, you got to have a top-tier coaching staff. You even take the Eagles this past year. Vic Fangio, Kellen Moore, Nick Sirianni, and then obviously what the Chiefs have done with, Andy Reid, Spags. All these Super Bowl teams have had elite coaching staffs, and that's what the Vikings have in these two. I think you got one of the best offensive minds in the league in Kevin O'Connell. I think you got a top 3 defensive coordinator in the NFL in Brian Flores. This guy should be a head coach, and we are so lucky that he is our DC calling the shots next season. And specifically on Flores, I want to show you guys a couple stats here. So remember when the Vikings won 13 games back in 2022? and everybody was just ridiculing this defense, and for right reason. The defense was bad in 2022. This was under Ed Donatel, but they were ranked poorly in every statistical category, almost dead last in all of these categories. But then you flip it to this past season, fantastic stuff. Like, you were an elite scoring defense, fifth in the National Football League, 19.9 points per game. You were a great run defense. And if you had the combination of your great run defense, you're not giving up a lot of points, you're great on third downs, and you can also get to the quarterback, like, that is a Super Bowl defense. So I am so big on this coaching staff. I believe in these guys. I believe in their process. And I think they're going to turn a lot of heads again this upcoming season. But, these guys don't get enough love at all, especially when we're talking about some of the best coaching staffs in the league. People always forget about what's going on up there in Minnesota. So if you guys want to show Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores some love, give me a skull down below in the comments section. Give me a skull flow. Give me a skull KOC, whatever you want to say. But show the head coach and defensive coordinator your support down below. Now, number 3, Super Bowl checklist. You got to have a guy at the quarterback position. You got to have a dude that's got some stones, and that's a winner. And I think the Vikings got that in J.J. McCarthy. Now, is J.J. McCarthy on the level of quarterback as Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow? We'll see. But probably year one, he won't be. But we also saw a guy like Jalen Hurts, with a stacked team around him, be super successful. And with the way JJ's rookie contract is set up, the next 3 years, you will have a loaded team around McCarthy. $4.9 million in 2025, $5.9 in 26, $6.9 in 2027. So if you are able to build around this rookie contract, and then also if you are able to believe in J.J. McCarthy and he can lead you to that promised land, the Vikings will have a really, really good shot. But 5 reasons why to believe in J.J. Number 1, the intangibles. I can't say enough about this kid. Scratch everything you see on the football field. Just who he is as a person. What he is doing in the city of Minneapolis. Handing out pizzas to the homeless. Getting tents for homeless people. Just being a great person and a great member of the community where he doesn't think he's too big for it. He still wants to give back, and this guy hasn't even played it down of regular season football. And he's also a playmaker. Outside of the pocket, these third and long situations, he is fantastic at playing some backyard football. And one thing that's undervalued, he's got an elite arm. He can really throw the ball every blade of grass. He can touch it with that right arm of his. He can make every throw. He's got the touch throws. He's got the bullet passes. He's got whatever you would want in that right arm. And also, we all know this, he's a winner. He's got 4 losses since his freshman year of high school, but specifically this last one. Big play / game player. So check out this stat. This is from JJ's final year at Michigan. JJ McCarthy was 36 of 49 on passes, which is 73.4%, for 544 yards with 27 first downs or touchdowns on 3rd and 7+ during his final year. That is insane. That is probably the best stat when evaluating quarterbacks coming out of college because it can be all set up for you. You can go 1st and 10. You can get to the play action game. You can hit your back foot and just hit a wide open receiver. But what are you doing on the money plays? What are you doing in the red zone? And specifically 3rd and long with J.J. McCarthy. 73.4% completion percentage, 27 first downs, 6 touchdowns on 3rd and 7+. That is ridiculous stuff. So when the moment is its biggest, when these games are its biggest, he plays his best football. You take Ohio State. You take the Rose Bowl versus Alabama. And even the national championship, where he wasn't asked to do a lot against Washington, he still did enough to go get the job done. So we got 2 more reasons coming up here in just a second. But first, I got to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. If you guys download the PrizePicks app today and plug in that promo code CLNS, you guys will get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Now, what is PrizePicks? Well, PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. Now with the Twins starting their season, if you guys are trying to put your baseball knowledge to the test, creating a PrizePicks lineup is the #1 way to do so, and you can put some cash in your back pocket if that lineup ends up cashing. But also with the Timberwolves, playoffs just around the corner. If you guys want to create a lineup, take the more on Anthony Edwards points, whatever it may be, PrizePicks has it all covered. So download the PrizePicks app today. Plug in that promo code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the Prize Picks app today. Plug in that promo code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. A massive shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports. Prize Picks, run your game. Got that link in the comment section and description of today's show. So another checklist item here for a Super Bowl contender. Physicality. This has been my biggest gripe with Kevin O'Connell, as you guys know. Because KOC, I will never know 1% about what Kevin O'Connell knows about the game of football. But the one thing I do know is that when it gets to December, when it gets to January, Kevin O'Connell teams don't always translate. And I think that's because they haven't been the most physical football team. And we've never had the most physical culture. But how do you create a physical culture? You add physical players. And we can start off with the running back here that they added, Jordan Mason. I did a show earlier on this week talking about Jordan Mason, breaking him down in full, and I couldn't be more excited to watch him play for this Minnesota Vikings team. He is a freak athlete. You know, last year for the Niners, yes, a lot of this was, you got to give credit to Kyle Shanahan and his system, but he was still able to go 153 carries, 789 yards. He was great in the rushing yards over expected stat, specifically against stacked boxes, which I love to see. And also, if you wanted to create a physical offensive line, I think you got that now. You've always had your two tackles, Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill. But now you got Ryan Kelly. Now you got Willie Fries, Will the Thrill on the offensive line. That guy's a stud. Blake Brandel at the left guard spot, still a big question mark, but I think this offensive line is top 5 in the league. And if you kick it to the defensive side of the field, imagine this third down package. Like, please, everybody close your eyes right now. And imagine you're your opposing team's left guard. And you see Grenard, Hargrave, Allen, Van Ginkel, Turner all standing up looking you dead in your face. And you just got to pick and choose who's coming. And then if they if they send all 5, you got to go one-on-one with either of these 5 guys. Like, the Vikings have a problem that I think is unsolvable for opposing teams' offenses. And then you just kind of have that, sprinkle on top of it's Brian Flores calling the shots. Like, this third down package, it's going to be absolutely ridiculous. I really hope he goes to it a good amount. Maybe it's something he saves that wrinkle for later on in the year. But I don't know what I'm going to call this, like the NASCAR package, the Hellfire package, like in these third and long situations, and you have these 5 lining up. It's going to be special stuff this upcoming season. But we'll close out the Super Bowl checklist with this. The Vikings got a winning culture. I've always felt like the Vikings have had one of the best cultures in the National Football League. And it's been obviously a winning culture. And I think what they've been able to do with maybe, let's just say, B-, B-level talent, but they play like in B+, A- football team, winning 13 games in 22, winning 14 games in 24. You have a culture there. And I think the Vikings have the best culture in the NFL. And it starts with the head coach. It starts with Kevin O'Connell. Because I still remember when he was first, introducing himself to the team, everything he talked about during that introductory interview or press conference, we have seen it come to fruition. And these locker room speeches, I think it's a big reason why guys wanted to come to the Vikings. Because they see these speeches go viral. And they see Kevin O'Connell all over their Twitter, all over their YouTube. And it's him just getting fired the hell up. Like, I think the Vikings, it's not hyperbolic to say, but I think they got one of the best cultures, if not the best culture, in the entire NFL. So we'll close today's show with this. Predict the Vikings record for next season. Where does it stand right now? You still got the NFL draft. I'm going to go 11-6. But the 2025 Vikings will be, you guys let me know your thoughts down below. If you guys also want to check out our new Instagram account, that's the handle right there, at Vikings Now by IG. Give us a follow over there. We'll give you guys a follow right on back. But we appreciate you guys so much for tuning in to today's show. See you guys next time. As always, Skol Vikes.